be reading the article It's Steph Curry's Game Now by Scott Cacciola of the New York Times. The article speaks of how Steph Curry is revolutionizing basketball and compares him to some other greats in different sports. If you have somehow missed watching the Golden State Warriors this season, you might have a quaint notion of how basketball is played. You might believe, for instance, that three-pointer shots are difficult, or that players should generally avoid hoisting jumpers 35 feet from the basket, or that in the NBA, a team cannot clinch a playoff berth in February with 6 weeks left in the season. None of that is true anymore, thanks to one player, Steph Curry, a butterfly with a jump shot who is reshaping people's understanding of the game. Jargon usually found on airport bookstore display racks has come to the hardwood, thanks to Curry. He is an outlier. He has caused a tipping point in basketball. The biggest disruptor in sports is on display in, where else? The Bay Area. In recent days, Curry has broken the league record for three-pointers in a season, which he did for the first time 3 seasons ago. And the Warriors, 53-5, still have 24 games left to play. Starting Tuesday night at home against the Atlanta Hawks, he has made 288 three-pointers this season, eclipsing the 286 he made last season. So he is now number 1, number 2, and you guessed it, number 3 on the single season list. The Warriors could lose the rest of their games and still make the playoffs. They will not lose them all, of course, because they tend to beat nearly all of their opponents, and usually by large margins. The Warriors experienced a rare close call Saturday night against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Took them to overtime. Curry won that game with a looping shot from a few feet inside the half-court line. Once considered remarkable, now considered well within his comfort zone. As everyone, from players to coaches to fans, tries to make sense of Curry's basketball breakout performances, some context is desperately needed. To whom can we compare the shooting master? Basketball has had other captivating stars like Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, who all streaked through lasting fame. The Steph Curry phenomenon is different because of his size. He is a swiny 6 feet 3 inches, 190 pounds, and because of the way in which he dominates the games by scoring so far from the basket, somehow stretching the court beyond inconceivable limits. It may be more useful to look beyond basketball to two athletes who redefined their respective sports: Wayne Gretzky, hockey's goal-scoring wizard, and Babe Ruth, the legend home run hitter. Long before Curry began smashing records for three-point proficiency, Gretzky was elevating statistical anomalies to an art form with the Edmonton Oilers. During the 1980-81 season, Gretzky set the NHL record for points in a season with 164, which included 55 goals and 109 assists. It was a remarkable feat, and one he quickly overshadowed by posting 212 points in the following season. Curry and Gretzky are kindred spirits, quick, explosive, and capable of controlling play despite relatively small frames of their sport. Curry can find spaces where it is almost impossible for defenders to cover him, Zweig says. From one record-setting season to the next, Gretzky managed to increase his production by 29.3%. By way of comparison, consider that if Curry continues to make three-pointers in the remainder of the season at this current rate, he will finish with 407, which would be a 42.3% increase from his record-setting total last season. Yet, in the department of athletic outliers, Curry and Gretzky were both preceded by Ruth, who broke the single-season record for home runs in 1919 by slugging 29 during his final season with the Boston Red Sox. The next year, in his first season with the Yankees, Ruth outdid himself by smashing 54, an 84% increase from previous record total. John Thorne, the official historian for the Major League Baseball, noted that the numbers are actually deceiving. In 1919, Ruth hit 20 more home runs on the road, but just 9 at home, where he had to deal with the Fenway Park's canaverous dimensions, which include a distance of 510 feet straight away to the center field. Ruth clearly benefited from the cozier confines of the Polo Grounds the next season. Given those ballpark variables, Thorne said, A more useful metric to study is slugging percentage, and to those were off the charts for Ruth compared to the rest of the league. In 1920, his slugging percentage was .847, also a record. Ruth had a profound effect on the way other hitters began to approach their at-bats, Thorne said, where the goal was once to slap base hits through the infield during the so-called dead ball era of the 20th century. Ruth showed that hitting for power was possible and highly productive. Although, Thorne said, Ruth was great at a time where most players were not. In sports, players tend to improve on average with each passing decade. As a result, Thorne said it becomes more and more difficult for one player to emerge as some sort of outlier. The margin between average and great diminishes over time. But to have a slugging percentage and an on-base percentage so far beyond the league norm, well, that's what Curry is doing now, Thorne said. Thorne said that Curry's emergence was partly the result of the NBA teams paying more attention to analytics, and in particular to the simple fact that three-pointer is worth more than a two-point field goal. The math is with them, Thorne said, and that's why low post play is kind of disappearing too. When Ruth began to hit all his home runs back in the 1920s, baseball's officials recognized the excitement that he had created. Many teams drew their fences in, Thorne said, and future ballparks were built with smaller dimensions to enable more hitters to slug homers. Thorne said he could see Curry having the opposite effect on the NBA. He has made three-pointers look so easy and effectively revealed to the other teams the shot potency, when the league officials might have no choice but to push the line back a few feet, Thorne said. It would be a real crusher for most players, most everyone that is, except Curry. He appears to be on another planet at this moment, Thorne said. Thank you.